everyone, and welcome to the fourth Sunday of Lent. Are there any announcements?
I'm bringing to you a report to the congregation from our board meeting on Wednesday night. Brian Payne will be the board chair for the months of April, May, and June. I, Donna Budgeon, will be past chair and be there as a resource to Brian. At the annual general meeting, we didn't approve a goal for our commitment for the mission and service, so we did that on Wednesday evening. And for the year of 2022, we have made a commitment of $6,000. The money raised in our Lenten giving jars will be going to shelter, clean water, food, and medical attention for the Ukrainian refugees. The money will be sent through the United Church and their mission and service partners. Diane Tolan has identified needs within the community of families that need support. We are responding using funds raised through the Heavenly Helpings Cookie Factory sales. We saw that there's one coming up soon. This cookie sale factory was set up just for this purpose. Diane also indicated that there may be local opportunities in the near future for us to assist in helping Ukrainian refugees. She will keep us updated. The current fee structure and rental agreements for our facilities will be reviewed and updated by the Building and Grounds Committee, as we are now opening up our facilities to outside groups. COVID restrictions are being lifted by the Ontario government, but not everyone in our congregation is comfortable with the speed at which it is taking place. In response, the board has made the following decisions. The hymn books will be back in the pews next Sunday. There will be no contact tracing, but we are keeping an attendance check because we care. Hand signers, we ask you to continue using it. There will be no cleaning of surfaces before the service, but we will do one after. Masks are at individuals' discretion. But that being said, I ask you to respect that we are all at different comfort levels. If you are choosing to not wear a mask during the service, I would ask that you sit at least 2 pews away from the person or a pew width away from the people around you, just to respect their need for this space. Thank you.
Today our service will be a reflection on the color purple and its ties to the liturgical color of Lent. Purple symbolizes wisdom, power, spirituality, luxury, wealth, and nobility. Since it is between red and blue, purple is known for the combination of red's power and blue's stability. The color purple also symbolizes independence, dignity, courage, and bravery. Journey with us through some of the stories about the symbolism of purple. Please join me in our call to worship. Come join us in this sanctuary.
Where people come to praise God.
Come join us in this sanctuary.
Where people look for quiet and comfort.
Come join us in this sanctuary.
Where people come for wisdom and healing.
Come, God is with us. Let us worship.
We come to be with God.
Now we'll have the Lenten Rock Liturgy, please.
In Jesus, we find light for the world, but sometimes we prefer to live in the shadows. Sometimes we prefer not to see what happens in our own emotional and spiritual life. Sometimes we prefer not to know what happens in the world around us. And in the shadows, we stumble on the rocks. When we choose not to see or know, we choose to turn away from God. The rock that causes us to stumble.
May God's Spirit journey with us.
Our opening hymn is Voices United 595, We Are Pilgrims.
From Nova Scotia, and was motivated by her struggle with epilepsy. The first Purple Day event was held on March 26, 2008, and is now known as the Purple Day for Epilepsy campaign. The Epilepsy Association of Nova Scotia joined Cassidy and helped to spread awareness of Cassidy's initiative. In 2009, the New York-based Anita Kaufman Foundation and Epilepsy Association of Nova Scotia joined to launch Purple Day internationally and increase the involvement of organizations, schools, businesses, politicians, and celebrities. Purple Day is held annually on March 26th. Supporters are encouraged to wear a purple-colored item of clothing. Lavender is the international color for epilepsy and is also a color that symbolizes solitude. The goal of Purple Day is to increase general public awareness, to reduce the social stigma endured by many individuals with the condition, and to empower individuals living with epilepsy to take action in their communities. Dress Purple Day. Every October, children's aid societies across Ontario raise awareness about the important role that individuals and communities play in supporting vulnerable children, youth, and families throughout the provincial Dress Purple Day campaign. The campaign is more important than ever since the COVID-19 pandemic has created additional stressors for families, and in some cases has increased risk for the well-being and safety of children and youth. Each year they call on all Ontarians to wear something purple to show children, youth, and families that they are here to help.
All right, this is an optical illusion called the lilac chaser. And one of the reasons it works, that they use the color purple is because the spectral wavelength of purple is very short, so it works good for this type of optical illusion. So I'm going to get Brian to... Okay, so what does everybody see out there?
A sun.
So you see...
Disappearing, yeah.
You see the purple dot going around?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, see the purple dots are chasing each other. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to concentrate very hard on the cross in the middle of the picture.
Oh,
And tell me what you see.
green.
Okay, there's a green dot. Green is the complementary color, so there's a whole explanation coming for this. Now, I want you to continue to stare at the dot, or at the cross, and for about 15 seconds, and then tell me what you see.
Oh,
Some of the dots are going.
yeah.
The dots start to disappear. So it's very cool, but there is a scientific explanation for that. So, the lilac chaser uses desensitization of photoreceptor cells in the retina, both to make the lilac spots disappear and also to make the green spot appear. Steady light shining on the retina quickly desensitizes your photoreceptors so that the signal they send your brain gets weaker and weaker. This desensitization, also called adaptation or bleaching, makes the lilac spots appear to fade away. What we can perhaps take away from this, though, is that when the cross, our symbol of Christianity, becomes the center of our lives, we begin to see things differently. Our children's hymn, 583, Voices United, Jesus came, a child born.
Jesus came on
Jesus came to show us all
color of Lent. Just as the books of the Bible had become an accepted canon by the 4th century, the use of liturgical colors to mark the church year were also in common use by the 4th century. The colors of violet, white, black, red, and green were formally adopted by Pope Innocent III in the 12th century. Following the Reformation, denominations and congregations have often made their own decisions about using the liturgical colors. Most mainline denominations have adopted their use because of the symbolism they add to our worship experience. I once read a story about a woman with Alzheimer's who saw her minister's purple stole and said, "It must be Lent." The symbolism triggered a memory for her. So why is purple used for Lent? What does it mean? Purple represents penitence and turning back towards God. Whether this connection came before or after its association with Lent, I'm not sure. It also represents wealth and loyalty. In the ancient world, purple fabric was rare because the dyeing process was expensive and time-consuming. To have purple cloth was to display one's wealth or royalty. Some say that purple cloth was equal to silver in value. This is why kings and other rulers would have worn purple. There are Old and New Testament references to kings and the wealthy wearing purple. In Acts 16, Lydia, the first European convert to Christianity, is described as a dealer in purple cloth. This indicated both her wealth and her status as a highly respected businesswoman. Purple was also used in the tabernacle and the temple. We use purple during Lent to signify the royalty of Jesus. The Gospels of Mark and John refer to a purple cloak used by the soldiers to mock Jesus. And they clothed him in a purple cloak, and twisting together a crown of thorns, they put it on him, and they began to salute him. "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they were striking his head with a reed, and spitting on him, and kneeling down in homage to him. And when they had mocked him, they stripped him of the purple cloak, and put his own clothes on him. And they led him out to crucify him. Mark 15, chapter 17 to 20. Obviously, there is irony here. I wonder if it was the only time in his life that Jesus wore purple, a sign of his sovereignty. When you see purple this Lent, I encourage you to remember the significance of the color as a sign of penitence and the sovereignty of Jesus. When you see purple, take a moment to examine your relationship with God by asking yourself, have I truly turned my heart toward Jesus? Is Jesus the King of my world? In this church, we will have lots of purple opportunities for self-examination. Let's make the most of them this Lent. Our next hymn is Voices United 342, You Servants of God.
You servants of God, your Savior proclaim, and publish abroad
the offering statement. The Bible speaks of sacrificial giving, and to that kind of giving we are called. In these Lenten days, let us offer not only our monetary gifts, but also ourselves into the hands of He who gave Himself for us.
What can I do? What can I bring? What can I say? What can I sing? I'll sing with joy. I'll sing a prayer. I'll bring my all. I'll do my share.
Holy God, we bring forward the ordinary things of life, food, drink, and money. And in bringing them, we bring ourselves, that you may change all of it, all of us, to be of service near home and far away.
The Purple Heart. In the years before 1782, when the Purple Heart predecessor, the Badge of Merit, Military Merit, was first created, most military awards were only given to officers who had secured grand victories in battle. The Badge of Military Merit, now known as the Purple Heart, was truly a military medal by the people, of the people. It was one of the first awards in military history that could be given to lower-ranking enlisted soldiers or non-commissioned officers for their outstanding service. Today, U.S. service members of any rank who have been wounded or killed in enemy action are qualified to receive a Purple Heart medal. There are many inspiring Purple Heart stories. Here is one about Corporal Dwayne E. Dewey. Dewey was deployed in Panmunjom, Korea during the Korean War and was serving as the leader of a machine gun squad when his position was attacked. They were surrounded and outnumbered, and it was the middle of the night. Dewey, who had been wounded earlier in the attack by a grenade, was being treated by Navy medical corpsmen when a second grenade landed at his feet. Without thinking, and although already in incredible pain, Dewey yanked the corpsman to the ground, yelled a warning to the rest of the squad, and flung himself on the grenade, shouting, "Doc, I got it in my hip pocket." Grenade lifted Dewey up off the ground. He sustained multiple shrapnel wounds throughout the lower part of his body and was later found to have also been shot in the stomach. But miraculously, he survived, and so did all of his fellow squad members, whose lives he had saved. His military complex continued around the globe. None impact us as much as the war in Ukraine. If purple reflects bravery and courage, perhaps now yellow and blue should also have the same meaning. Our hymn will be from More Voices, 169, and Hand Reaches Out Beyond Divides.
International Women's Day. Purple is the official color of International Women's Day, founded more than a century ago after some 15,000 women marched in New York City to demand better working conditions and voting rights. The current iteration of the day is intended to celebrate women's social, economic, and political achievements and to call for gender equality. To celebrate International Women's Day on March 8th every year, there are so many ways to get involved. And one of the easiest is to wear purple along with thousands of other women across the globe who will be doing the same. So why do people wear purple on International Women's Day? It's not just because it's a pretty color, although it definitely is. International Women's Day, IWD, is running with the color purple since it's supposed to represent visionary thinking. The IWD organizers say that purple is the color of the future, and as it happens, the color had always symbolized the exact kind of gender equality that we're still fighting for today. Purple is historically associated with efforts to achieve gender equality, the IWD organization said. In this context, it was first used alongside green and white as the colors of the Women's Social and Political Union, the organization that led Britain's women's suffrage movement in the early 20th century. Said the IWD organization, not to mention the fact that purple was also the color of the women's liberation movement. If there was ever a color that properly represents the strides that women are making to fight for a more equal society, it sounds like this was the best possible one.
Thank you for being with us today. Please join me in the closing words. When the temptations of the world seem overwhelming,
Jesus has already faced them for us.
when we despair that our needs will not be met,
Jesus has already met them.
when we find no value or purpose in life,
Jesus has already restored us.
when we fear that the powers of this world are too great,
Jesus has already humbled us.
go, pray, serve, be persistent in the things of God, and God's blessings go with you. Amen. Our closing song is More Voices 213, Take Up His Song.
Take up his song of peace and go to the world. Take up his song of peace in every moment of the journey.